Yo, JD here, Limitless, and as you can see, back on F1 2020 as always, but with a little twist. We are in classic cars, which I've been doing a lot of time trial world record attempt videos recently. I just thought it would just be something fresh because they are so fun to drive. Why not try it online? So we've got 5 fights, and as they go out at Silverstone in this very competitive lobby, starting P13, and it is already chaos as I look to go down inside this gap, and yeah, pretty ambitious for me to even try as I get slapped with a 2-second penalty on top of that as well. So now we're pretty much near the back of the field, and it's just our job to get through this as quick as we can. But everyone is just absolutely dropping like flies. Like, what is this guy doing? How has he even got over it? As we get an illegal overtake at the same time as well. And this video might be quite a long one because I am going to be showing 3 online races. Because typically when I do my online lobbies, I do 3 and make it into somewhat of a mini championship. Because they got back into P12 for someone who's just fallen asleep on the straight and going to this corner. The understeer, I have to say as well, we are using default setup, so no one has their own setup. Everyone should be in exactly the same cars. I just slam into the side of this poor guy in front of me because I just completely lost control of my brakes. But yeah, as I just said, everyone is on the exact same setup, so there's no advantage from anyone else. But gone back into P9 after going back to P17 at the start, so making quite good progress. And I think it is just showing how hard these cars really are to drive, and they are really, really fun to drive though. It's so much harder to drive than the modern car, especially with the default. We're coming up behind Muz, if I can even say his name, going very, very deep into here. The understeer is just absolutely chronic, and this was after I did my world record video, so I should be quite good around this track, you would think. But we do have a little bit of traffic as someone is having a ping pong match up ahead, going very, very wide. We get a very good exit going through the old turn 1, and we're not going to get any inside, so we're going to think a little bit better of it on this occasion. Let him have the corner and then try and get him on the exit. So he goes in very, very deep. We go round the outside of him, and these 2 guys are still fighting it out, going side by side, going into the end of the hang straight. They just keep on trading positions, still going down the inside. They're just being absolutely ruthless, and it is Danny Rick F1 who is a familiar guy in one of my lobbies. So they're still fighting, still trying to go side by side. It's almost an entire lap. So I'm going to try and take advantage of this. I managed to sit down the inside of one of them, just about staying on the track as well. And now we're behind Danny Rick F1 with Thomas Dude 23 up ahead of him, who always seems to be able to get into my lobbies. I don't know if he's just waiting as Danny Rick just goes completely out wide, gifting us that position into P6. And now we've got to try and catch the very, very fast pad driver of Thomas Dude, who has featured in my videos before. But this is a complete open lobby, and it's whoever gets in the quickest pretty much joins. And you can see Hoopylicious has set a very, very quick time of a 28.6 or something like that. And no, he is very, very quick. I was quite shocked by that time, and I know who he is as well. He's actually, I think he's American, and he's a very, very fast driver on this game who seems to be getting better and better as well. So he seems to be quite decent in these cars, especially by that lap time. And because my lap wasn't even that bad, it's almost a second off, and we're using the same tyre. So going through this turn 1 or sector 1, we're not going purple, so we're going green. We are improving on my time by quite a bit at this point. Unfortunately, we are coming up to a little bit of traffic now, but we have caught Thomas Dude and this group pretty much for P2 very, very quickly. So it seems to be myself and Hoopylicious, if I'm even saying that right, seems to be the quickest cars on track right now as we go out wide at the Stowe. Go for Magnus and Beckett's completely fat up for his right, but then you can see how much of the understeer through there. So slow in, fast out, coming onto the hang straight, almost losing the car, trying to tuck into the slipstream. Use the human DRS, as Super GT says when he does his karting videos, because there is no DRS in these cars, and someone is going super out wide. We went out wide there, but on this occasion, the game decided not to punish me. So a little bit inconsistent track limits there. As Limitless just sets a 28.6 once again. So he is absolutely flying right now. And no, we did have a bit of traffic in this lap, but still that time is very impressive to me. So we're into P5, so a very good recovery from what we did at the start of the race. As Thomas Dude does a very aggressive move, trying to get past Monty F1. So we try and get a very good exit off here. They're almost going side by side, trying to get the slight better traction, which we do. And you can see the slipstream in this car is very powerful. In fact, you don't really need DRS because it really is that powerful. So they go side by side. I'm going to try and take advantage. Monty gets a little bit unsettled, which then gives me the inside. And this is the last lap of the race. I get a better exit than Thomas Dude. And this is for P3 here, and maybe even a chance at P2. So this would be an absolutely awesome recovery. We get the line through into the old turn 1, and he's trying to come back at me, going through Magnus and Beckett's, but I don't think it is going to work through there. So we try to leave a little bit of room. Luckily, he backed out of it last minute, because I think that would have been an absolute plane crash if he did. And now coming up to QICI, or Key C, if you want to pronounce it that way. But I don't think we are going to be close enough, as Hoopylicious is absolutely miles in front. So definitely stamping his authority on this little free race championship, as the man in second does go out wide. I think if we had another lap, we would have got P2. But a very good recovery, but definitely some competition in these classic cars against the man in P1, who is probably the fastest driver I've seen or come up against in these classic cars, because I feel pretty decent in these myself. And before the end of this video, I have to give a huge shout out to Gravity, the main sponsor and supporter of my channel. This is the best place to buy and sell Bitcoin in the UK, or if you're in Europe. This is something, a little bit of a hobby of mine that I've been involved with in the past few years, and they've been a huge supporter of me. If this is something you want to get involved in, then please check the referral link down below. So now we move on to Singapore, starting in last place. Thomas Dude up ahead of me, and this is a completely random grid for these 3 races as well. So it really is luck of the draw here, but we get a pretty mediocre start. Going into this turn 1, it's just a case of trying to avoid this carnage, trying to remember that word patience that I always said at the start of the game. Definitely haven't been sticking to that a lot recently, but we are methodically moving our way through this field up into P7 and braking so late, because the car just doesn't want to stop in here. But luckily we didn't unsettle them too much. Pure Bell we're going to go down the inside of, and it's from P20 as we go in very deep again. It's very hard to know when you go braking these cars, but someone else was gone out wide, and now we've been promoted into P9 and now quickly into P8. So we've made up 12 positions on the first lap. I tried to be as clean as possible, but it is just really hard to do in here, and Singapore in these cars is definitely going to be quite a big challenge. So going through the chicane, getting my first track invalidation, and now going over this little bridge. Mulder, SHN Mulder goes out wide and been tapped by Thomas Dude. A little bit going to that corner, and now it's a bit of a drag race going into sector 3. Who is going to break first? It's going to be me, and we just about make the corner. Another guy has gone radioactive, has gone out wide, so we're going to slip down the inside, trying to be opportunistic into here. And now we're into P6, we're locking up and going straight on the understeer again. Compared to the default setup, it's about, I reckon around here, it's probably like 3 seconds. So as 2 people are absolutely murdering each other on the exit back, we'll figure back out down the inside of there, we'll get the inside of one, and we're just going to let him have this corner, go down the inside of the other of Veloce Dragon, who just completely runs into the back of whoever that was. And now we're side by side with Veloce Dragon, who I have raced against a few times, and going into this top one, he just completely pushes me out wide, trying to make a way back onto the track. He still finds a way to hit me, going through turn 2 and turn 3. He is a very aggressive driver, it seems, but he goes completely straight on, and we are trying to just get away from him, trying to get the slipstream, of VMCL, who is a pretty quick driver on this game. But yeah, Veloce Dragon, I don't think he'll be getting in Veloce anytime soon if you're going to be driving at that level of aggressiveness. But we are into P3 after starting last, as Veloce Dragons actually in fact retired. This has been an absolutely sensational comeback through the field, all mainly because everyone is just really suffering with this car around here, because I don't think this car was really built for this track. It's very hard to control, as this guy is just completely turned into the wall very early. We get a very nice run on him, but I don't think we're going to go down the inside. It's going to be a little bit too much of a risky move, and we just try and save it for another day. Going into sector 3, trying to follow it as close as we can. He goes in pretty deep, so we're going to go for the switchback. Probably not going to go for a move on the inside of this corner. Go wait for this main straight. In the process, we are actually catching the leader pretty quickly. He goes very out wide, so again, not really a place you really want to be overtaking. So it looks like he is definitely struggling with this car here. So coming off the last corner, it's key to just get a very good launch, as we do get a very good launch, but with the dirty air running out wide whilst setting the fastest lap in the process. Going through turn 1, trying to be as close as can, but he actually gets a very good turn 1. Going for the switchback a little bit more on this turn 3, and now just trying to be as close as possible to the main overtaking place, which is down here. So he goes wide. I actually follow him, but I get a slightly better exit, and you can see with the slipstream I was talking about, you get a little boost of slipstream when you really tuck up behind him and go around the outside. He gives me room, so fair play to him on the outside, and I get the move done into P2. Now this guy up ahead is another regular in my lobbies as well, and he is a pretty aggressive driver, kind of like Veloce Dragon, so I knew it wasn't going to be easy to get past him. But if I want to fight for this championship, because Hoopylicious is actually quickly coming through the field as well. As you can see, he's in P4 right now, and we know how fast he is. So this guy makes the same mistake as VMCL did on the previous lap, but we actually get a better launch and able to get ahead of him going into sector 3 split, and almost losing the car. The rear brakes completely locking going through into there, but we get the move done. And now with Hoopylicious well on its way up to this group as well, it's crucial that we just try and pull away as much as we can, whilst also trying to go for the fastest lap for that crucial 1 extra point as well. And you can already see we are almost out of the DRS zone already, so pace was feeling really good. The only thing I struggled with is the default setup was what to put my brake bias and differential on. I really wasn't sure in this car, because sometimes it just felt incredibly easy to lock up. But moving on to the last lap now, we're setting the fastest lap of the race, and you can see we pulled out over a 6-second gap here, so it was essential that we get past those people as quick as we could. But Hoopylicious has fallen down the order now a little bit, so I'm not quite sure what's happened to him. I think he's had an incident with JC, who I said was a very aggressive driver, and I think that is proving to be the case. But right now I'm just trying to set the fastest lap as I could right now to just get that little extra point. But we are only going green in this first sector, so not a purple sector, because I think it could be another driver on another lap who is setting the fastest first sector. But Singapore is a track that I absolutely love on the Formula 1 games, and it's a very different track to Monaco, despite being a street track. This track I've always seemed to excel at, because a lot of tyre wear and tyre management is really essential around here, and being smooth, and you don't have to be super aggressive with the change of direction or the steering speed or anything like that, so it really suits me well. And yeah, I'd say this was probably one of my favourite tracks on this game, but I haven't done it in a classic car yet, which is probably going to be next track on my list. So if anyone wants to challenge me in these classic cars on Xbox, then go over to Suzuka, because that will probably be the next one that I am going to be doing, and it will most likely be in the Brawn 09 car. So on this lap, moving back to this gone double green so far, and crossing the line, this will be the fastest lap because I had set the fastest lap previously, and it is a win by over 7 seconds. But as you can see, Hoopylicious, I think, has actually backed off to do the fastest lap of his own, just pipping me by 0.2 of a second. So if he can't beat me on track, he's going to try and beat me mentally by just going faster than me. So proving yet again that he really does have the speed, but we have managed to beat him by quite a way in this race after starting last on the grid as well. You can see the championship, only 7 points coming into Vietnam, the last race in this free race championship in these classic cars. So again, starting nearest the back of the field, so starting in P14, absolutely love this track, and I don't think I've done classic cars round here either yet, I don't think so. Getting a pretty poor start, but the second phase, I always get a very, very good second phase. Hoopylicious is actually behind me on the grid, and he really, really needs to beat me. Going to P13, so making up 1 position already, but going into this, I have the reactions of a sloth. No reaction time. I didn't even do anything. I was just kind of assuming that he would probably ghost, I think, at that stage, but nonetheless, we are still making up some positions as we're squeezed into the wall here by this guy, but luckily we just about get the move done. But you can see Hoopylicious is ahead of us, so no, there's not really too many difference in points in this little championship we've got going on, so it's a bit crucial that I try and get ahead of these cars. But going through this right-hander, it's so hard to shift the weight transfer in these cars, and I think that's what a lot of people are really, really struggling with. But we are into P10, so we are into the points, just a couple positions behind my rival here, as we're behind VRC Dan, going towards the longest straight in Formula 1, I think, or maybe Baku might be a little bit longer, but I think it is probably one of the longest, as we get a pretty good exit coming off this game, trying to warm our tyres up a little bit because they are very cold at this point here. And going to this corner, you can see a few people having a little bit of a difficulties, including my championship rival coming into here. So we're just going to take it easy. We've got a little bit of a gap behind us to the very aggressive JC. So no, I was a little bit nervous that we'd be held up too long. So going into this penultimate or third last corner, we go down the inside of VRC Dan, who gives me plenty of room, so it's nice when someone is being very fair, so GG to him. And we get a good exit of this corner, and now we're into P9. Still got a car between myself and my rival. He's figuring that go down the inside, decides to think a little bit better of it, and he is just trying to go down the inside like I did in my WR race round here, and when I did it in the modern cars in that league. He's trying to do the same move. We get a good exit of this corner. There's a little bit of a traffic jam, which causes each other to lose momentum. He's trying to go down the inside, so it's being very, very tight into here. And what is going to happen? We're going to try and go around the outside of 2 cars to get the inside for the left, and we're going to go try and go down the inside of both cars as we're clipping a wheel on the curb, and I think we just about get the move done. So we got 3 people as they slam into the wall, and that has helped us so much. And I think we got 3 people in the space of 2 corners then, and vitally my rival, but VRC Dan has got an absolutely insane slipstream. As I said, in these cars it is very, very powerful, but we managed to spot a breaking point very nicely, trying to get some good traction and a good exit up here, and now he is directly behind me. So going into sector 3, someone just completely loses it. 2 people actually lose it going through into here, and now that's put me back into P4 in this race itself. And now we're behind Monty F1 and QICI. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but we are moving through again. I think we've made up probably the most positions out of everyone so far throughout these 3 races. We haven't really started high up in any of them, and we're almost on the podium position. As you can see, we're actually starting to gap. Hoopylicious actually behind me, and no, it seems like we actually do have the pace this time around this track, because this track probably is one of my favourite tracks, along with this and Zandvoort, which I'm very gutted that this track is not going to be used in the real F1 next year. But when I had my league race, it was probably my best league race I did so far, and it definitely seems to be transferring over to this lobby in these cars. So getting some very, very nice apexes on that chicane, not going over it too much, just to unsettle it and getting a good exit of this, and be able to see if we get any somewhat of a slipstream, as we're actually out of the DRS zone. Although there is no DRS in these cars, we're probably out of slipstream zone of the car behind. You can see the slipstream is very, very powerful. This is without DRS here. Spotting the breaking point once again. He goes in very, very deep, so this might be an opportunity to try and get the traction going in to the end of sector 2 and going for into here. We're setting another purple middle sector, so go around the outside of him and let's see if he gets room. So it's got to be side by side. Whoever blinks first going for it here, and we get the move done into P3. Thomas Dude, I think, must have started pretty high up because he's got a pretty big lead at this point here, and so far it's been perfect, absolutely, so far. Now we're coming up to the man in P2 as Thomas Dude sets a 140.0. I think we're not going to match that because we lost a little bit of time in this last sector. You can see double purple in the first, but only green in the last. And now coming up to this man, trying to get past him as soon as we can, trying to put a few more positions between myself and my main rival here. And coming through into here, trying to get a good exit with the slingshot. He gets a fairly decent exit as well, but you can see with the slipstream how powerful it is. He's defending down the inside. You can just see it is so powerful at the end of the straight. So we're going to let him have this corner. Just always thinking about setting myself up for the next one. And I think he's purposely going out wide because he wants the slipstream going down the straight. So we decide to take it, but just try and get a very good exit in the process. And I think he is just, yeah, I think he's probably miscalculated how early he should have gone on the throttle there, because he has lost so much time. If you just go a fraction too late on the throttle in this car, then you're just going to lose so much time on the acceleration. And we don't spot a breaking point very well, but that actually results in him going completely side by side of us. So he was so far behind, and now he's just completely side by side. But we managed to keep the position into P2 on this penultimate lap. And it's just a case of trying to gap him and trying to go for this fastest lap as well, because so far I have not had the fastest lap, because it has belonged to Mr. Hoopylicious, who is just so fast in these cars. And it looks like he just needed a little bit of time to warm up in these cars, and now he's actually into P3, and now it's just going to be a straight shootout on who can get this fastest lap, because we now do a purple last sector. So going into sector 1, this is going to pretty much be like a qualifying lap now, because we're not going to catch Thomas Dude, but it's just a case of just keeping the man out of P3 from going ahead of us, and also just for pride at this point, trying to prove that we are fastest over a lap here. So we get a pretty decent exit, and I think we've actually gained time on the leader and pushed ourselves away from the guy behind. So we go purple in sector 1, so far so good. Try and spot this pretty nicely, deciding to take the corner cut because I don't think we have one at this point, and just focusing on getting as good exit as we can. And 1.7 behind now, and we are definitely on track for this fastest lap so far. And yeah, I absolutely love driving these cars. It is so satisfying to drive. But now at the end of the straight, spotting the braking point, but we brake far too early. We broke so early and got a very bad exit on the traction, and I think we have just lost so much time, as you can see on the deltas. And you can see we've lost over 4 tenths in that middle sector, purely just braking that early. We just broke so early. So I'm just doing everything I can to throw the car into these corners. Looks like unless Thomas Dude disconnects, he is going to win this race here. And I think each of us have actually won a race. Myself, Thomas Dude, and Hoopylicious. Thomas Dude wins. Coming across the last corner, can I still be in contention for this last lap? Absolutely sending it for this last corner, sending the fastest lap. But then it is inevitably beaten by the man behind, who has set the fastest lap in every race that we did, and he just pipped me by over a tenth of a second. At the end of the day, we managed to claim this 3-lap championship. I really hope you enjoyed this. I love doing online videos, so let me know if you want me to do more of these. Thank you so much for the support of my channel, and I will catch you very soon. Peace.